main challenge of digital transformation for me are based in people. So people is the center of this. My opinion and experience, of course, most of the companies confuse digital transformation with technology, which is not the case. This is the reason that I thought to build bridges connecting people to understand the problems, the challenge, their needs, and so on, in order to break these boundaries. When we talk about digital transformation, we don't talk about technology. We talk about human beings. All turn around human. If we are not able to understand the human needs, it's impossible to develop efficient solutions. Smart cities is about technology, sensoring, IoT, and so on, to take decisions, but from the humans part. So in cognitive cities, imagine harness the power of data, artificial intelligence, and cognitive computing to transform cities into intelligent and adaptable ecosystems. These cities will not just be technological advanced, but also capable of learning from data, evolving to changing circumstances, proactively and autonomously delivering services, and ultimately enhancing well-being and livability of their inhabitants. This is the main difference. Smart city is technology. Cognitive city is technology plus decisions. The cognitive city takes their own decisions. 3 points. No? If you want to go fast, go work alone. If you want to go far, work as a team. But if you want to go far and in the shortest time, work as an ecosystem. And for me, this is the key. If I could change some aspect in the cities, I'll change the mentality.
Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Future Hacker. I'm your host, Maria Taide, and today we have an exciting guest joining us, Xavi Jofre, right? Did I say it right,
Yes.
Xavi? Awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect. Thank you very much, Maria.
So with over 15 years of experience in digital transformation and innovation, Xavi has worked on some of the most ambitious urban projects, including NEOM in Saudi Arabia and Mobile World Capital in Barcelona. Today, we'll have some great discussions around cognitive cities, the future of urban living, and how AI is reshaping the way we interact with our environments. Xavi's innovative vision could change how cities of the future look and feel. Hi, Xavi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Maria. I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this interview. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us once again, right? So you did an interview. It's going in Spanish for our Spanish channel. So anybody that is listening to us right now, if you speak Spanish, just go to Future Hacker Spanish channel that we had the very first interview there. And when I heard about the topic, I was like, oh, I have to talk about it as well, right? So I asked him to come back again. So thank you so much for, again, being available here to talk to us, Xavi. So I have to mention something. So I found on your LinkedIn that really stood out to me. So this is what you wrote on your LinkedIn. I build bridges so that trust emerges, defensive attitudes disappear, and all ecosystem stakeholders feel part of the digital transformation and innovation project, while aligning both with their real needs. And for me, this was such a powerful statement about the challenges of digital transformation. So how has this journey been to you so far for you, right? How did it lead you to get involved in these cool projects like smart cities?
Well, this paragraph is a very powerful paragraph, and at the end, for me, it's always I'm talking about from my opinion, of course. My opinion is not 100% true, it's just my opinion. So the main challenge of digital transformation for me are based in people. So people is the center of this. My opinion and experience, of course, most of the companies confuse digital transformation with technology, which is not the case. This is the reason that I thought to build bridges connecting people to understand the problems, the challenge, their needs, and so on, in order to break these boundaries. So finally, digital transformation as maybe one say in a brief, in a one sentence, it's the reconfiguration of an organization with the objective of creating value through the continuous implementation of technology. Basically, when we talk about digital transformation, we don't talk about technology. We talk about human beings, all turn around human. And if we are not able to understand the human needs, it's impossible to develop efficient solutions to solve that problems. So if we are not able to know and identify the challenge of the different, for example, in a company or different departments, talking in an internal company that make up a company, it will be very difficult to design and implement processes through technology to help solve the challenge. As a summary, if we don't receive support from the management committee for the implementation of the digital transformation strategic plan, it will be very difficult to carry it out. This is one of the biggest challenges. The company, the committee has to believe in the transition, in that transition. If the committee don't believe in that transition,
it's not happening,
in
right?
the near future, there will be a big problem. So, because during the transition, we will find different kind of people. So we are talking about breaking the mindset or changing the mindset. So during this process, we will identify different kind of people. For example, some of them, due to the lack of knowledge and fear of leaving their comfort zone, but with a positive attitude. So they are in the middle. They have fear. They have fear. They don't want to change their internal procedures and so on. But in parallel, they are open to listen to you. But in the other hand, we will find another group. That group, their attitude will be the opposite, and will want to dynamite the process internally. In this scenario, as a key lesson, is where we need to have the conditional support of the steering committee, because there will be a time of unpleasant decisions, and this is the key. Always, my lesson, my personal lessons is, if we have to be involved in a transition, in a digital transformation project, we have to have the 100% support from the top of the organization. If not, it will be really, really difficult.
I completely agree with you. And it's in the name, right? It's transformation. We are not used to that. Like, most of human beings are just used to the status quo. Any change is hard. And take it to another level when it's within the whole organization, and when there's a cultural change needed as well. So I completely agree with you. You have to have your sponsors and reinforcing this all the time, so changes can happen in all levels, right? And how did your experience in digital transformation lead you to projects in cognitive cities? And also, and let's align the knowledge with everybody that is listening here. What does the term cognitive city mean, and how is it different from like smart cities, which is what I was used to hear before, right?
Okay, so cognitive cities harness the. So when we talk about the smart cities is about technology, sensoring, IoT, and so on, to take decisions, but from the humans part. So in cognitive cities, imagine harness the power of data, artificial intelligence, and cognitive computing to transform cities into intelligent and adaptable ecosystems. These cities will not just be technological advanced, but also capable of learning from data, evolving to changing circumstances, proactively and autonomously delivering services, and ultimately enhancing well-being and livability of their inhabitants. This is the main difference. Smart city is technology. Cognitive city is technology plus decisions. The cognitive takes their own decisions in function of this scenario that happens at that moment. So cognitive cities start learning from the experience, and then they will take decisions. This is the reason why it's very important nowadays to understand that AI is a good technology, but data is it's also important in order to avoid the hallucination. So
Yes,
because imagine,
yes.
some the problems that
Yes.
could happen.
I know. So I find it both amazing and scary on the same time, right? Because right, it really needs to be worked properly. And even talking about data, like how can we have data that truly reflects today and not history, because historic data is not necessarily something good for us, right? So you have both challenges of using the right set of data, but on the same time of programming it in a way that is driving us to a better place and not repeating the same mistakes again, right?
Exactly. And regarding the data, this is always, in my opinion, it's very important to work transversally and connect the different cities to exchange knowledge and data. It's important, for example, connect, work Rio with New York, with Barcelona, with Singapore, with other cities in order to exchange knowledge. This is, for me, we have to leave out our ego and start to think in the future and thinking in people. So it's important to collaborate because data is more important, the experience is more important, and every city is completely different than in other cities. So we have to exchange, collaborate. And I think that this is one of the biggest challenge because it seems that every city is competing against another city. And well, maybe I'm very optimistic, but I think that this is the way.
I mean, there's no real innovation without collaboration, right? And we are always stuck in this. And it's not just regarding cities, it's also regarding governments and organizations and even private companies. Everybody thinks that they have the secret sauce. And, and if people understood that opening up and exchanging information, it's better for everyone and themselves as well. But that's all the part of the transformation and the innovation, is just opening, being more open to exchanging, right? So you also mentioned a term, neurourbanism. And I understand that, when you explain about cognitive city, that if the city is learning and taking decisions, it makes sense to me. But is there any specific definition of this neurourbanism that you're using as well?
Well, neurourbanism is when we apply neuroscience for urban planning and design of urban environments. So it's basically design or understand how the structure and design of cities affect people's mental health, well-being, and behaviors. This is neurourbanism.
Okay.
So design cities that have a positive impact to the quality of life.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, now cities is the focus on the main goal of urbanism is design the perfect city for people. For people, elder people, young people, middle-aged people, and so on.
So and that was actually going to be my question to you is by your experience, and we're going to talk about Niam and Barcelona, but do you believe that a city can be like really, really inclusive? And by that I mean beyond sustainability, because we know that is usually the first check is has to be sustainable and integrated with nature, right? And disabilities is also one of the natural checks, like if people are on a wheelchair, or blind. But beyond that, like, let's talk about neurodivergence, that they face unique environmental sensitivities. Like, are those new projects addressing this real inclusive environment? Because there's too much diversification out there, right? So, do you believe that a city can be really inclusive, or is the future something like, if you are this type of people, this city will serve you better than this type of people?
Yeah, well, I think that our or the main our focus or the main focus should be on create cities where embrace all these kind of people, no? That people with disability, people 100% perfect, and so on. At the end, everyone, everybody is a people, are people, are humans, no? So we have to create this. But in order to create this, for me, it's very important. This is a message for the innovation teams, for the cities, no, or innovation teams and government teams and so on. It's very important not to lose the focus on people. So in the end, all of this is aimed at the single goal to facilitate and improve the lives of the inhabitants of these cities. So basically, if we want to design useful cities, when design the project, we must have a multidisciplinary team, right? So creating a team which implies architects, urban planners, designers, humanists, technologists, health professionals, mobility professionals, and so on. But in my opinion, we must also create a group of end users. So end users means elderly, middle-aged, young people, people with disabilities, to help the professionals to understand the inhabitants' needs and the challenge. Because if we don't create this kind of groups, a very specific groups, to give them the professional support and show them the reality of a city, it's impossible to create the perfect city to cover all the needs. Because in a city is a big ecosystem where live people with disabilities, people. No, I don't know exactly the word in English, because I'm not a native. No, but uh, well, to live cordiality all of people, but also taking into account that there's people, workers, like delivery people. Uh, there's a lot of different kind of profiles in this ecosystem. We have to take into account all these needs.
So, and that's mostly my question to you, is that those new cities that are being developed from scratch, like Neon, like they have this opportunity, they have the investment, and they have the opportunity of starting from literally nothing, right? It's in the middle of the desert. So are they using that? Like, do they have this board of diverse people that are actually being able to give their opinion, or are we still following the track of the stakeholders and the investors that are leading the way of whatever they believe that is going to be an inclusive city?
Well, I think that in that case, building a city from the scratch, like Neon, well, in that case, Neon, no. So the power of Neon is ability to carry out a project that is 100% disruptive. So building from scratch and building something completely different. So the way that we know today's cities, as with any disruption, we don't know if the final result will be as expected, because we are thinking, in that case, in a vertical city, 200 meters, 170 kilometers length, and so on. Vertical city, completely no mobility. But we can sure is that it will serve as a learning experience for future projects. So it will be perfect to extract conclusions for the future community cities projects. Maybe at the end, we are aware that vertical city are not the solutions, but for sure we are able to take some of that parts and integrate in the traditional or in the flag cities. No, there will be things that will implement, others, for example, that will serve as a starting point and will be improved by learning from mistakes, and final and others that will be eliminated for sure. But this is the innovation from trial and error, and so until we reach the excellence.
Oh, Xavi, I was going to mention that because the thing is that when you want to be against something, you're going to have always so many reasons to be, right? And that's what happens with innovation because you talk about electric car. Electric car is like a super dirty supply chain, but it's a type of evolution, right? When you talk about solar panel, we are not there yet. It's still expensive. It's a lot of cost. It's a lot of energy to build the panels, but still we are making use. So we haven't resolved the supply chain yet, but those steps are happening, and the steps need to happen. So I understand when you say that maybe vertical, and that's one of the criticisms of neon, right? Oh, it's vertical, so it takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of nature to construct, so it can't be sustainable. But the things that after it's built, it's supposed to be, we have to start somewhere, or else you're never going to begin it, right?
Exactly.
And so I just want to make sure that people that are listening to us, maybe they never heard of the YUM. So can you just give us the basics of? So you already mentioned. So I said that it's in the middle of the desert. You mentioned that it's vertical. So it's supposed to be completely connected, right? It's supposed to be one of those cognitive cities that you said that is going to be transforming. So what else can you share about it?
No, well, unfortunately,
You can't.
I cannot share
Okay, it's
too
okay.
many information, but I can say you that Neon for sure will will provide a lot of information that allow us to improve traditional cities for sure.
Oh, good. Okay.
For sure. Maybe vertical city, I don't know what will happen. It's like we are talking further than 2030, and it's a 100 project. I don't know if finally it will work well or not. Live in a vertical city, but for sure there will be a lot of learning,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we can use that knowledge to apply in another project for sure.
So let's talk about that of using this knowledge to apply in current cities. So what do you believe that is the biggest challenge of having traditional cities, like most of the cities that exist, be more intelligent? And the thing is that when you think about it, it should be no brainer to be using artificial intelligence, of using data, for I know many cities use already for traffic jam, for example, like for the light, when the lights, or to see, or even better, right? Let's make it easier. Let's make it easier. Let's say that we need a new road, or we need any change within the city. Any change could be simulated in a computer before it actually gets done, right? You see how will the city behave if I change this? What's the best way to do it so the city will adapt faster? And so, but are people using this? And if not, why not? Is it a matter of investment? Is it a matter of basic infrastructure? What's your opinion on that?
So let me divide this
Okay.
in too many points. So firstly, the biggest challenge for me, is align all the stakeholders. I'm talking just about people. For me, the biggest challenge to transform a city in a smart city or a cognitive city is not about technology. Technology is there. It already exists. The biggest challenge is align or build bridge connecting all the different stakeholders in a city ecosystem. So I think that one of the biggest issues that currently happen is that city, for me, it's a big ecosystem, and if you analyze how the different hubs work in a city, it's like, okay, there's a hub of mobility, and we're just thinking in mobility. There's a hub of health, and there's a hub of urbanism, all the vertical hubs. So if if we think about city, we have to put all that hubs in the same in a same pot and mix and start to work together. This is the biggest challenge because nowadays don't work together. Every hub works thinking in just topic in their topic, and that's it. But we have to connect all these because, for example, I don't know. There's an example, an emergency, an emergency, no? Like I don't know, there's some accident, and that accident, what happens, have to take the patient and take the patient, advise let the police know and bring to the hospital. So we have to connect different points, completely different. We have to connect the health ecosystem, the health system, the emergency system, the mobility system, and so on. For me, this is the biggest challenge. Connect all that point, all that stakeholders. So, and regarding the AI, so AI, there's a lot of use cases of AI, and there's a lot of use cases like creating a digital twin, no? That you can replicate in a digital world some parts of the city, not all the city, because it's quite a bit hard to replicate because you need to deploy a big infrastructure to get a lot of data and recreate and analyze all that data and so on. But for me, it's basically it's before to apply this kind of technology is understand the challenge of the city. I think maybe my brain is completely different than the others, or I think hopefully I'm not, but it's technology. It's an enabler. So we have to put our focus identifying the challenge of the cities, and that's it. Then we can apply, for example, in that case, AI. Well, maybe AI in some moments, and in other moments, another kind of technology. Technology already exists.
At the
AI
end, it's
exists
a
from the
tool.
beginning
It's a
of the
tool.
century 20th.
Yeah.
Exactly. AI exists from the beginning of 20th century.
Yeah.
So it's not from now. AI
Yeah. Yeah.
more than
I
100
completely
years.
agree.
So I think that the focus is on the challenge, identifying the challenge.
And in your opinion, are there any downsides or risks to creating those cognitive cities? Like we can be very creative in movies, and you see that everywhere. Like you see that in Mission Impossible, Batman, and then so many examples. Like it just takes cybersecurity risks to a whole new level, right? Hacking the system and things like that.
Yeah.
But at the end, it's real as well, right? It's real. Like
Yes.
just as it's real to cities, it's real to our own life. We're going to get more hackable when we get more connected, like even wearables and things like that. And I personally feel that as we are today, we're already not prepared with the speeds that those risks are increasing. What's your take on that?
Well, maybe I'm quite a bit pessimist, but I think that we are not ready. First of all, because well, one point is about the cyber attacks.
Yeah.
And the other point, for example, regarding AI, is the data. The data we use to teach the algorithm must be correct.
Yeah.
Because if not, we have a lot of percentage to have hallucinations. So imagine an AI having hallucinations and taking decisions regarding from that hallucination. It could be a chaos in the city. So I think that we have to be aware to control the correct data and also control the cyber attacks. And but maybe I'm wrong, but I think that we are in an early stage about it.
Yes. So talking about the stage, right? So, um, what do you view like for the next 2 to 3 decades, which is not so much, right?
Yeah,
And I know it depends on where, but just taking into account cities that I don't know. There's a couple of projects that you worked in Barcelona as well. So
yeah,
what's going on out there, and which are the cities, and uh, separating neon, which is a whole different radical example
yeah.
here. But which cities do you see more evolved from your experience?
I think that for sure that maybe the city, the number one city is Singapore
Yeah.
for me, in my opinion. And basically how I see the technology, in 10 years. I think at the end, for me, the evolution of technology in 10 years will be the perfect integration of the various technologies to achieve efficient use of them. And that's it, because technologies already exist. Okay, they will evolve, but I think that the key of all of them is the integration. All of this, the integration is the perfect integration of data from, for example, no. So, coming to the previous point, to teach the AI algorithm, no, take a data and analyze that data and be aware that that data is correct, and then teach the algorithm, and the algorithm can take decisions in order the previous learnings. So I think that this will happen in 10 years. There's a company. So I knew in the last Mobile World Congress, I knew a company from New York that they develop a solution, like a very available solution, that analyze the data in the phase of the data analytics, analyze the data in that phase, and extract the wrong data. So in the pipeline, after some processes, extract the wrong data in order to get the most accurate data possible. So we are on the way.
Yeah, that's for sure. We are in the way. Yeah. We have to. we have to. Okay, so if you could change, in my original question, I asked about one thing. I think one thing is too hard to think about. But the top five. Let's say the top five things that you could change in cities the way that it functions today.
In the cities,
Yes, like if you were if you were almighty, and you could say, like, if it was given to you the power of, okay, this city, it's yours to play, right? What is the main thing that you would start with, or your top three, let's say?
yeah, my dream, no, my dream and my perfect scenario. So I would like to change people who make up the design and development teams. People who don't think about their ego or about themselves, but rather think about how to improve people's life positively. This, for me, is fundamental. Ego is poisoning the world, and this is the great barrier of the evolution to evolution and innovation. The ego. So, for example, it's regarding the ego. No, the other day I was watching the Netflix documentary, "The Greatest Night in Pop." Okay, now I'm talking about the music, no? And I was fascinated because everyone will remember that song, "Oh, We Are the World," and the impact it had. But that wouldn't have been possible without the teamwork and a goal. Uh, Finally, they brought together the best singers in the United States of America. But if they hadn't left their egos out of the room, the product that came out wouldn't have been the same, for sure. And what they achieved in one night, just in one night, in less than 12 hours, I think, the product was incredible. So summarizing, for me, it's there's 3 points. No, if you want to go fast, go work alone. If you want to go far, work as a team. But if you want to go far and in the shortest time, work as an ecosystem. And for me, this is the key. If that could change some aspect in the cities, I'll change the mentality, the mindset of the politicians, the teams that in charge of designing the new concepts. And I start to think in collaboration with all the departments, with all the different stakeholders, and think how to solution some problems and facilitate the people's life.
We are talking here about the future of humanity, right? It's so much broader than
Yes, yes.
yeah.
For me, at the end, this is the main goal of innovation and digital transformation. It doesn't matter if we are talking about cities, about health, about banking, about, I don't know, insurance, about mobility. At the end, our focus has to how to makes people live easy.
Yeah.
8 hours at work. You have to go to the bank. You have a lot of transactions. You have to move from point A to point B. I don't know. There's a lot of things. At the end, it's okay. When I wake up, I think, how can help people to make their hard task easier? And this is my this is my goal in my life.
So this is your goal. So let's bring it closer to us. Your goal. So what have you been up recently? Like, what's your next step for you now?
So my next step, step. So now it's like a little a little advertisement. No, I'm working with a theater professional from different cities, especially from New York, with different backgrounds, but with the same goals. And we start to design and develop a project that we want to introduce in many cities to improve to improve the ecosystem, and how can improve the urbanism and the city, how can improve the cities in the future. So we are working. I'm working on, well, we are working in this kind of project.
Oh, okay. Sounds interesting.
If you are interested, now is the advertisement part. So
Yes,
if you are interested,
good.
we can explain in another session. No, there's no problem.
I was going to tell you that, like, when you have, when you have more information that you can actually open and share, we are more than happy to have you back with us. So, finally, it's been a great conversation, a great source of inspiration. Xavi, if you have any final message to our listeners, please, I will leave the last comments to you. And for everybody that has been listening us, thank you so much for your audience, and stay tuned. Please, Xavi.
Thank you very much, Maria. Thank you for the opportunity to explain my point of view, my vision about innovation in the cities.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Future Hacker. Life. Path. Future.